Welcome to the Amanda Effect, where I thrive to inspire, encourage, and uplift you through life's journey. I'm here to help educate you on self-improvement in life's different categories, including family, careers, relationships, mental health, and so much more. So let's get started because I'm excited for you to feel the Amanda Effect. Effect with Topher. I'm your Amanda Dukes, and my lovely co-host Topher is here with me. I'm good. I'm very tired today. I don't know what it is about the new year. Apparently, my brain don't want to shut off, so I haven't been sleeping too well at night.
Figure that out. Get you some melatonin.
I usually drink tea. I don't have any melatonin. I don't drink. Maybe I should try that. I'll try that. Possibly. I have to go to the store and get some. How are you doing? How was your New Year's? We missed you last week. So I don't know. I feel like it's been forever.
It's been a week. But no, it's been pretty good. It was nice to just kind of hang out and not really do anything. But that's pretty much about it. And then I took down all of our Christmas decorations, which is why I have a blank wall behind me now. And my friend was pretty sad and said that I took Christmas and Santa away. So that was kind of sad. But I was like, he'll be back next year as long as you behave.
Lord. But that's good. I need to take my stuff down. Me and Aaron were looking at it yesterday like, it's time for this to go. It's time for this to go. But yeah, my New Year's was pretty relaxing and I loved it.
Well, that's good.
That's all I wanted was relaxing, uneventful. I think 2020 gave us plenty of events. So I was totally fine with bringing in 2021 uneventful. So yes, but good, surrounded by loved ones.
Nice.
So we have a pretty interesting episode today, don't we?
We do.
It's probably we don't hardly touch on topics like this, but I'm super excited to talk about it because I feel like it's necessary. We always for me and what I feel like for my podcast and what I'm trying to do, I think I'm a good middleman, right? So I like to bring different topics that people don't like to talk about and help people hear what others are saying in a different manner. So I think this is just a great platform to do that on. So nobody's like, talking back, like no arguing, but actually being heard. So today we're going to be talking about why. Well, the statement came from something you've seen on Instagram?
Something that was sent to me on Instagram.
Okay. So why don't you go ahead and tell what it was sent to you and why we decided to talk about it today.
So my best friend is, you're going to get a surprise here in a few minutes, but we always have this conversation that she's just like, why do Black men fail me? But at the same token, why does she have like positive Black males in her life, like as friends, but it doesn't lead to, like, she can't find basically like this perfect Black man. And sometimes like she was like, okay, like, is it just because that, who she is it like her career, her income, things like that? And so it's just a conversation that we often talk about. And I just told her, finally, a couple of weeks ago, I was just like, why are you putting your life on hold and desiring a fantasy that you don't know if it'll actually exist for you? And so, but like I said, we talk about the topic a lot, and that's why we are here, because it is something that a lot of Black women discuss. I know that my take on this might be just a little bit kept in the background just because my wife is white. And so she is like, she's not saying that. But from the other aspect, I've heard my mom say it. I've heard my best friend say it. And some Black women are just tired.
And I think that is good to talk about because I'm big on, I say it all the time, be authentic. How do you really feel? Because somebody else out there does feel like you. Now, I will say, I of course don't feel like this. I have a wonderful Black man in my life, but I do know that these are things that some people struggle with. And I think it should be talked about and not get criticized for it. So this is a safe space. This does not necessarily reflect our opinions and views personally. However, this is a space where I want people to know they can come, they can talk about things that maybe is not common, and they're going to be okay to talk about it because they're not the only person thinking it. There's no one person out there who is the only person thinking that thought. Even the most horrible things people think. If that wasn't the case, there wouldn't be multiple serial killers and bombers and things like that. Like, yeah, those are horrible things, but there's somebody else out there thinking like them. We may not know why. Actually, I do want to know why if you want to talk to people. That's the whole separate thing. I just got off topic, y'all. I love me some crime shows, okay? So, but
I'll investigate for you.
Listen, I'm telling y'all, if y'all need a PI, Topher is your guy. Oh, that should be a slogan. I want my check. I want my check. So, to help us do that, since I don't have a personal connection with this, and of course Topher doesn't have a personal connection finding a black man, we actually invited his best friend Keisha on here to help us talk about it. I want to hear her thoughts, her mindset, and everything else. Because I think that initial thought, people stop listening after they say that. Like if Keisha said, "Oh, I can't find a good black man," people are like, "Oh, what do you mean?" Da, 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 and they stop listening. There's reasons people feel this way. It's not all harmful, but I think it's open for discussion. And with saying that, yes, my wonderful black men, I'm going to have somebody on next week to speak on your behalf. I just want to let y'all know we got y'all. Hang in there because this is an important topic I really think should be discussed. So without further ado, Topher, do the honors since she's your wonderful best friend.
I mean, she ain't all that, but.
All right, Topher.
Well, everyone, welcome Keisha onto the show.
Hi.
No, welcome to the Amanda Effect. I just like saying that.
You see how Topher tries to play me? You see that?
Yeah. Multiple times. He does it even when you're not listening, by the way.
I know.
Yeah, take that halo off. That was self-made. But I really appreciate you coming on here, finding the courage to come talk about this because, like I said, it's important. And I just something that's going around this. You're not the only person who talks about it in your friend group. This conversation is being had. So right. I do appreciate you bringing it to light, doing it on a public forum, and, just making sure people don't feel alone in that aspect.
Right.
So I want to start. First of all, Topher, are you okay with me starting? And sorry, y'all, my hair is following me. Any question? Okay. I'll just be talking. You're going to have to stop me if you got something to say. Well, one, tell us about yourself, your career, your goals. Tell us a little bit about you because I feel like getting to know you is also important in this this journey we're about to go down.
No problem. So I currently live in West Virginia. It was not on the bingo card for 2020, but here I am because I am finishing up my doctorate in clinical psychology. I have but prior to that, I have a background in social work. And so I graduated from Case Western Reserve University back in 2016. And then, like I said, moved forward and wanted to pursue a career in specifically mental health. So clinical psychology was the path to get there. I also published 2 books. I published one in 2015, Dear Dad, I Broke the Cycle. And I also published another book in 2017, The Year of the Woman. So I've been very busy over these last 5 years, let's just say. So
that's awesome. So where can people find your books, first of all?
Oh, on Amazon. They can find them on Amazon. I'm trying to get started with a 3rd book, talking about the PhD program, being Black while completing a PhD. However, dissertation and documentation away. So that's kind of on hold right now, but it's going to get finished. Right now, I'm just focused on, trying to finish this doctorate right now.
Listen, I know that's right, honey. Go ahead. All right, y'all. So we dealing this with an educated Black woman, successful Black woman. Okay, so just in case y'all needed to know, that's what we're dealing with today. One, I do want you to send me the link so I can add it when I post this. By the way, okay. Your Amazon link for your book so people can go find them. So explain to me, did you feel like a pull to like date, like you had to date, Black men? Like, how did this all come about, this mindset? When did you notice, hey, I'm feeling some kind of way about this?
Well, it didn't start happening until I got older. So, like, obviously, when you're in your 20s, you just doing whatever you want to do, and you're just, technically being the hot girl. So, hot girl been around is just Megan Thee Stallion, just, she trademarked it, but hot girl, we all been around doing that. So,
I don't know what you talk about. Oh.
Okay, well, I've been around doing it. All right, let me be very clear here. I've been around doing it. So it never really dawned on me because I had, had situationships with, different men from different type of backgrounds. So being in a committed relationship was not on my mind per se. It wasn't until this past, I would say recently, within the past, 2019, I actually, cared about somebody a lot who was African American male. However, he had nothing to bring to the table. And I was just like, how is this gonna work? So, and then I start thinking about all the Black men I had talked to prior to that, and I'm like, none of them had anything to bring to the table. Now, a couple of them in the past have gotten married now. Oh, great guys. I won't, say anything bad about them. They great guys, married, children. But I would have to say, out of all the people that I've dated, it's normally the white guys who either are more established, and and as I'm getting more in my career, I don't see Black men in my career as well. There's less than 1% of Black males in clinical psychology. Yeah. So a lot of men I see are white. And how I grown up, the area I grew up in, have majority been white. And so I feel like I've tried to branch out. It just never works. And if I'm asking for any type of standard or boundary, now all of a sudden I'm sadiddy, bougie, we asking for too much. And I don't believe in the struggle Black love. I don't believe in that. Like, nah, I'm not doing that. I'm not getting punched in the head. You ain't gonna have no babies on me, and then I gotta stay with you, and then I gotta be down for you. No, then it ain't none of that. We're not doing that.
Okay, so when you say didn't bring anything to the table, explain what that means. Because you have to understand, when people hear this, it's gonna come off like, oh, well, I found plenty of white men who had it together and were established, and Black men didn't have anything. Which we all know statistically, odds are stacked against them. I know, honestly, several Black men who are, most of them are already married. But so I guess it would have a little bit to do with, like you said, where you grew up, what you always there's going to be a geographical thing that's it's just going to happen. But so explain what you meant by saying, didn't bring anything to the table. So
absolutely. And I want to make this clear before we move forward, that this is no way in shape or form trying to bash Black men at all. I think Black men are, there's nothing sexier than a Black man who takes care of his family and take care of his loved ones. So to me, I still think Black men are kings regardless. But just in my experience, I just haven't had anybody who was able to bring something to the table. And what I mean by that is that you can be a provider. However, if you are not emotionally equipped, psychologically equipped as well, that's important to me. And so I'm not saying that all Black men are broke, ain't got, no house, car, and stuff like that. What I'm saying is that if you're expecting women, and this is what I see online a lot, Black men expect Black women to bring to the table everything. Oh, she got to have a good car, good job, meet my needs, take care of her kids, or don't have any kids. But the moment that there may be something not checked off in that list, now all of a sudden they're damaged goods, or they're this, they're that. So if you're expecting me to do the same thing, you have to bring the same thing forward. Instead, you bring in drama, you know, you got trauma from 20 years ago with mom and dad and something ain't right. And then now I got to deal with it. And if I don't, now all of a sudden, oh, well, you this, you that. So when I mean all together or bring to the table, I don't necessarily only mean financial. I mean all around. And I don't believe that, especially now that I've gotten older, the emotional piece, psychological piece is real big at this point. That's the big part.
Correct.
Also, Keisha, I mean, like, just not to like bring like our like private conversations like into this.
But you have to bring them into this.
But I mean, like, well, communication is huge for you.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times, and I'll say it for like even for myself, but we're not like just as black men in general, we are not the best communicators all the time. And like, so I would just say that is big for you based upon what I have heard and what I've witnessed in like your personal experiences, is that sometimes that we expect for you or whoever to basically do all this digging, and then it's just like, well, like, okay, well, can you help me dig? So then that way, like, we know that we're actually getting somewhere. If there is a problem, why, like, it doesn't need to be an argument. Let's just actually talk about it to be able to move forward, instead of you shutting down, shutting off, and then I have no clue. And then what am I supposed to do?
Right.
Besides, like, basically, and then a lot of times, like in your situations or entanglements, they are referring to
shade.
I've been dealing with this for about 15 years. It don't matter.
But I mean, like, they look for you to basically just hold on until they're ready, and that's not fair.
Right. And don't get me wrong, I'm not the type of person that, like I told you, jump into marriage, jump in a relationship. I am not. Like, we're gonna have to take our time, but over time, like, I'm a hustler all day. And I need the same man that I'm with to be a hustler too. And if I feel like you not doing what you supposed to be doing, this can't work. And you know, I'm not, like I said, this just didn't come up until the past like year or so that I started noticing it and actually being aware of it, because I had to get to a place of maturity as well. So, you know, I had to do some fixing on my own. And that's where the whole accountability part comes in at. I had to take an inner look, like, okay, girl, you need to get yourself together. And I expect, especially Black men, to do the same thing. But asking them to do that is like asking them to go out there and make $1 million tomorrow.
So I'm gonna go ahead and jump in here for my Black man.
Go ahead, boo. Go ahead.
So, and I hear you. First of all, I love that you have done your inner work. I love that you're like, nope, these are my standards. I'm not apologizing for them. 100%. You, first of all, I love that with anybody, but especially being an educated woman, a lot of people feel that as a threat. I love it. Keep that. Don't ever let that change. And absolutely, we shouldn't have to be what do they like the we're not therapy. We're not, don't come to women especially to heal you. We are not healers. I am not Jesus. I'm not your mama. So I 100% understand that. But I guess the points that you made are also some things that kind of soften my heart. Black men are not great at understanding where their feelings and stuff stem from, because that's not what they were taught.
Mm-hmm.
Most white men grew up, understanding that it was okay to have feelings and emotions. They could be lax. It was okay to make a mistake. Black men did not. They had to be on their P's and Q's constantly. They still do. They're taught to be strong. And if they get emotional, then they're going to be weak because of what the world is going to treat them like. So their, fathers or mothers and grandmothers, whoever raised them, they 100% tried to build them up to be strong, because this world was going to tear them down regardless. It was going to try to tear them down.
Right.
So with us understanding that, to me, it's like, okay, yes, you don't have to sit and wait if you're ready, if you've already done your work. But I guess to say that they have failed you or failed Black women is unfair, because truthfully what has happened is the world has failed them. Society has failed them, and they are absolutely dealing with scraps, and it is very hard to come back from it. Dealing with our own mental health. I know you guys can, agree that like that ain't easy. That's work. And I've never been a black man. Me and my husband talk about the pressure that comes with being a man, one, and two, that comes with being a black man. That's something I can't identify with. Like, yeah, of course, like I'm a black woman, but one, I'm not dark skinned. I definitely think that being a dark skinned woman comes with a different set of pressure. And I hate that. I hate that I have to be viewed as the safe black woman. And people don't talk about that enough either. But honey, if I'm being a safe black woman, they got another thing coming because I'm all for it. I'm all for the black, like, no, y'all not gonna come with me. Y'all get everything y'all think y'all gonna get from them. They're gonna be nice to you, not. But I think that it's just how we word things is what bothers me. The word me thing. When black women say black men have failed me, and in my eyes, it's like, okay, well, you know, in a sense, it can be looked at as you're taking the easy way out. Because yeah, the white man got to be comfortable in their feelings. They felt comfortable making mistakes and dealing with themselves because that's just how they, and ain't nothing against white men. You should not feel sorry for that because you grew up with that entitlement. And I mean that in a good way. Like you grew up, like it was your pleasure to do that. I don't want you to feel sorry because you didn't struggle 100%. But I guess it's just unfair how we word things. And I think that taking those things into consideration when we speak on these topics is important. I definitely feel like now, one, I don't think it's just black men that don't communicate. I ain't found a man that communicated properly.
All men.
I have more examples of black men because I think I'm in contact with more black men than white men. However, none of them communicate properly. And I think that we are just now getting to a point where it's comfortable to talk about your mental health. It's becoming more normal. So it's hard even still to have black men go to therapy. Even Topher said he went to therapy and he just felt like it wasn't for him. Some people try it and they don't understand what it's supposed to feel like, because it's very foreign to them. And you know, your mom could raise you and be like, I didn't teach him that he couldn't talk. No, you did not. But somewhere down in your bloodstream and your DNA, somebody told a man that was related to him to shut his mouth. Don't talk about your emotions. He doesn't understand why he's not talking either, although you raised him properly. These are things that we are trying to break generationally. And I feel like our generation gets the very brunt end of it because we're trying to change it for our children so they can change it for their children so they don't have to deal with this. It ain't going to be about black and white. It's going to be, okay, who treats me better, who matches with me the best, who has the same vision and goals as me. Like you said, you need a hustler.
Right.
Oh my goodness, I know so many men who hustle. But like you say, you need more. And the black man has been, their identity back then was defined by money. Mm-hmm. So if their whole lot was get enough money so I don't have to deal with them. Get enough money so, you know, I can buy my family out of slavery. Get enough money so I can sit in room with white people and make decisions, important decisions and things like that. So to them, if they were not doing that, then no, they were failing. That was their only requirement because back then that was more important than them building relationships and talking to their women. They're like, listen, I'm trying to make it so, you know, we can live so our kids don't have to worry about getting beat up every day because of the color of their skin.
Right.
So, and I think those things generationally is what we as Black people need to stop and think about. I'm not saying give them a pass. No, Keisha, you do not have to suffer because somebody has not done their inner work. That is their accountability. That is 100% their responsibility.
Oh, I won't.
And this is an apology.
But to even like to add into that, but that's then like I think that's like our like the big thing, and that Keisha and I at least discuss about a lot is that a lot of times a lot of pressure is put onto women that you need to basically talk to the relationship coach. You need to do this, you need to do that, and then you need to be safe and secure and kind of like maybe 5-10 steps ahead. But there's never anything directed towards men in general, but especially Black men who we already know who are those 10 to 15 steps behind, especially when it comes to our emotions and things like that. So in these situations, like for what she had sent me online, I mean, that was directed towards basically.
What was that?
It was mine. I'm sorry.
You are about to be fired.
You can't fire somebody you don't pay, so it's okay. But a lot of that communication is directed towards women, and a lot of things online are also geared towards Black women and saying like, hey, you need to do X, Y, and Z. And then a lot of these people side with Black men and saying like, hey, like I know that we got this going on, but basically let's put the pressure on the woman to be able to do whatever, and that's not fair. And especially when we know that it is a little bit harder, and sometimes depending on where you're at, it's a lot harder to be Black and be a man. Like where we live, I mean, not in West Virginia, out there in the sticks, so nothing against y'all folks, but
Stop it.
I mean, like here locally where we are at, can things get a little frustrating? Absolutely. But we have the opportunities as Black men to seek help if we want it. We also have the opportunity to make our own table if they don't invite us. We have the opportunity to step into rooms that maybe our fathers and grandfathers might not have been able to. So if we can do all of that, then we need to also do everything else. And also, like, we have to be better. And we know that there's issues, and if we're trying to teach our kids better, then why can't we tap into what we need to do to make ourselves better?
Agreed, 100%. And the thing that I think people need to understand, which again, it's getting better, but it's not there, is that your mindset is also passed down to generations. Just like you pass down high blood pressure, like the way that you think, the way that you move, it's passed down. Like my husband, he'll stand a certain way, and I'm like, you stand just like your dad. Nobody told him to stand like that. He probably is unconsciously doing it, but he's doing it. It's something simple like that I don't think people really understand how much genetic plays a part in it. And yes, it's 100% your responsibility. People tell you all the time about childhood traumas and stuff like that. Like, okay, cool, this happened. You can't change it. So what are you going to do about it? Because now it's up to you. You get into a point in your life in adulthood where you have to decide if you're going to change it or live with it. Do you want it to stay the same? Do you like feeling like this? So 100% that it's time. It's been time. And no, women are not rehab centers. We have been, because we're nurturers, and you'll find a lot of women who will still do this, and moms will do this because we don't know how to do anything else but take care of our children. And I can imagine
how to do other things. Come on now, don't.
Well, I mean, it goes against our nature not to. Like if my son came to me and saying that, Mom, I don't know what I'm doing. Like I can't, communicate with these women and stuff like that. We're going to try and fix it. We're going to try and help them do that. We're going to be the patient ones with them. And I'm not saying mom shouldn't do that, but we can't expect other people to do it, because that at the end of the day is our job. But after a certain point, it is his responsibility, if that makes sense.
I was going to say, you going to text the women for him, or?
No, I'm going to help, not the women. No, I'm going to help him understand that it's okay, because that woman shouldn't have to wait. She shouldn't have to lower her standards or put her life on pause because you're not ready for her and where she's at. Well, that we're done. Like I said, we're done with that. We're not doing that anymore, because there's way too many resources now. There's way too many options. And if you don't know the options, it's a simple ask. It's a very, very
and that's huge, because a lot of us don't ask.
They don't think they have a problem. Is that, and then there's that. A lot of people don't think it's a problem because they're fine. I turned out fine. Y'all don't want to be great. Like I don't want to be fine. I want to be great. I want to thrive. I want to make a difference. So it just all depends what they want to. Some people they may be hustlers in business, but don't have the hustle mentality for a relationship.
What did I tell you about that person?
Hey, you got a name? It's like, no, I'm kidding.
No, we don't do that. But I think that somebody can be ambitious as they want to be. They can have all the desire in the world to win financially, but some people, especially when others have tolerated it in the past, are okay with not being equipped emotionally and mentally and things like that. because other people have dealt with it. And eventually, most people will always find somebody to deal with them. But should we just be dealing with each other, or should we actually be fully committed to each other, loving each other, and prospering together? And like basically, you actually at that point, you're not just dealing with a life partner, you're living life with your life partner, exploring life. And that's what somebody like in Keisha's position, that's what they want. And they don't want to just have to deal with something to get by. I mean, if you just want to get by, it's not like it's lunchtime, you're just going to swing through, McDonald's real quick instead of actually going to have a sit down meal, things like that. It's not that type of mindset that we need to have as men. So I just think that I'm glad you brought that point up, because that is like bingo, cherry on top, because that is true.
Yeah. I think a lot of it is a very unhealthy relationship with money too, and why I've noticed it almost defines them, how successful they are, how much money they are. They can't
like a slave on this thing.
Oh. I was like, why is like, is it dying? What are we talking about? I don't know why you was showing us your life. Congratulations. No. But it's an unhealthy relationship with money and being successful. They do not feel like anything else can happen. They can't be happy. Nothing else can thrive. Nothing else will elevate until that component is completed. And that's a very unhealthy thing to do with anything. They tell that with, okay, y'all want to put it on women? They tell us that with women. Women, stop saying, okay, once I lose 5 pounds, then, I'm gonna be good. No, you good now. You're amazing now. You want to lose 5 pounds to feel better about yourself? Dang, you're going to be even better then, honey. Like, that's it. You are fine. You are perfect now. That monetary value, like obsession, I don't identify with. I don't get it. Because at the
end of the day, we have been taught that in order to get anywhere in this world as a Black man, you got to have something.
And let me be clear. I know it's important, and I won't.
It's the fact of, if you take away the ability, especially for like, okay, somebody in my position, like I said, I mean, like I am glued to my phone in my work laptop, glued to it. But I also know what it's like to not have that, to not make the money that I make right now, and to literally feel like I didn't belong anywhere.
Right.
Because I didn't have the money. And now, like, it's different. And so, like, if somebody came in and just took that from me, it would be World War III, because eventually I don't know what I would do. And it's a weird thing, but society has taught us that to be Black, it's either you have something or you have nothing. Mm-hmm. And it's either where you want to fall on the spectrum. And and Keisha and I have talked about this as well. And sometimes it's like, when you are making enough money, are you okay with that dollar amount? And that is where it can become an ugly obsession, because, I'm not financially stable, but you have a good job. You have a roof over your head. You actually have the means to be able to live a decent life. Right. But you're not doing anything to basically show that. And it's also a big piece because a lot of Black men don't value the dollar. They
worship
over it.
They worship it.
Yeah, but they don't value it because they don't understand it.
100%.
They don't know what money can actually really do for them once you have a little bit of something. So, but that's financial literacy, because if it wasn't for the fact that I grew up where I grew up, I wouldn't understand it.
My husband explained it to me this way. When, we're financially set, some of the pressure releases. I talked earlier about, the pressures of being a Black man. So they feel like that releases. So for them, they're looking at it as a goal. Like, all right, cool. You want me to do this. You want me, to be here with you mentally and stuff. Like when I'm able to do that, that pressure will release. And I think sometimes that compromise is something some women are willing to make and some women aren't. And I think you just have to find that one. But at the same time, like Keisha said, she doesn't really feel like, that's a deal breaker for her. She's like,
but that's because it's back and forth with Black men. Because I know there are going to be Black men who watch this show and be like, oh, she's bitter. She ain't got no man. Meanwhile, I'm in a whole relationship. And then we go transition into, oh, we don't care about your education, but yet you turn around and say you want a girl that's about her business. So which one do you want? Like, so it's always this criteria for us to hit. And men are visual creatures. I fully understand that. They want a woman to look, how they want her to look. And I get that. I guess I just don't know where that, I don't have to deal with all that when I'm dating somebody outside of my race. I don't have to deal with all that. Oh, well, she wearing weave. She must want to be white. Oh, she doing this. She must, oh, look at all that makeup. It's just a nitpick, tear you down every 5. I see it all the time on the internet. I'm telling you. And yes, I will say this, and I'll throw a statistic out there for you. Black men still out earn Black women. Still. So, it's not that the money isn't there.
That's fact. That's absolute facts.
So that's why I said it's not just about the financial part, because I know that they out earn Black women still. Not necessarily with advanced degrees, but with like trades and stuff like that. So I know they out earn Black women. Yep. I guess where I am asking is, you're asking so much of me to give you, but what are you bringing to the table besides you saying that you got to have money to have some status? Like, because tearing me down in the process is not going to get you closer to me, nor am I going to choose you. Now, don't get me wrong. Like you said, there are women out there who are willing to sacrifice certain things and this and that. And the person that I dated a year ago, I was willing to do that.
And I did not understand.
And Chris could not understand it. I was like, Chris, you don't understand. Like, it's a different feeling when you're with a Black man and your identity is important to you. And he understood that. And that was a connection I hadn't had with somebody. I don't think I've ever had with somebody. So to me, it is important to be with a Black man. However, now the person I'm with now is, trying to learn me, and the sweetest person, the most gentle person. That is what I need from somebody emotionally. He's just a gentle guy, and he is willing to understand me, willing to take his time. That's all. Like, that's all. Like, and I understand that the two things can't exist. We can still fight racism, white supremacy, and XYZ, as well as hold you accountable to what you should be doing in your community and the women that you claim that you care about. So
I feel like that's fighting it, though.
Huh? I'm sorry.
I feel like that is fighting it, holding people accountable. I just said this. If you love, literally last week, me and Lucas talked about, if you love me, you hold me accountable. You want those that you love doing the best that they can do.
Right.
So that's 100% correct. And they see it as down talk. And we'll probably get backlash about, you guys can say that about Black men, but when we say this about Black women, then, you're putting Black women down. And I think I'll address that next week when we have the male version of this on, because I want to, explain it properly, because there's a difference in deliveries and things like that. Mm-hmm. But and what they're tearing down. Like you said, it's always about looks. It's always about looks or attitude for them. Right. However, if we're supposed to be strong women who are handling all of this, you want us to be educated, help financially. There's some stuff that comes with that. We got to build a couple muscles that allow us to do that. So,
you know what? You tell a person next week, if they want to tear down black women, they got to understand Black women aren't going around shooting each other. Like, Black men have the highest rate of gun violence. I know, because I'm doing my dissertation on it. And every time we ask Black men to hold other Black men accountable, we don't get that. It's not even about us holding them accountable. Hold each other accountable. Black women hold each other accountable.
I feel like Black men are in a fight to be the powerful Black men, not realizing when they join forces, they can be the powerful Black race.
Okay.
Governor came out of here.
Speak that. Speak that into existence. If only they understood.
Man,
if only they understood that.
Take over. That's why I tell people, I was like, I know way more like intelligent, successful Black men. Like, so I guess for me, it comes from a different side. And y'all, if y'all don't know this, I'm actually mixed. So I have a whole white side of my family. And I still know plenty of successful Black men doing amazing things. They think of things in a different era, which is usually why back in the day, they used to want to collaborate with Black people, but then they would just steal our stuff. They know. They know we have some stuff to bring to this table. It's magic, okay? We can't explain it.
And we all mentioned the geographical, certain areas where there be majority Black men. I know when I go down south, there's plenty of Black men down there, successful Black men at that. So I can't discredit the fact that successful Black men don't exist. I know they do. It's just in my experience, raggedy ass Ohio, excuse me, language.
We're not gonna come at Ohio.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying. But yeah, I agree with you, Amanda. There are successful Black men, and I just I wish they spoke up more. Maybe they minding their own business. Maybe that's it. They just minding their business.
I absolutely feel like because we're gonna wrap up here soon. I know you have to go. But a couple of things also that I want to talk about. We'll probably have to wait till next week. But why successful Black men often don't bring Black women into that success either.
Ooh,
like that'll be a question. Let me write that down. Why they feel, because a lot of times you see successful Black men, they're with it's more often than not, I feel like I see them with the opposite race or a different race than theirs. And again, I'm all down for the swirl, y'all. I don't want y'all thinking I feel no type of way, because I'm all for it. But to me, it's a common theme, and I just kind of want to know if it has something to do with how we each have to, put a hard shell on to get through life, and neither one of us like that hard shell because it's triggering our own hard shell.
Mm-hmm.
If that makes sense. So I think that it's working against us. We are triggering each other to the point we can't get past get through to the deep love that we absolutely have for each other. I don't hear you on here bashing, I can't do it, they ain't nothing, they've never done nothing for me. You're not saying anything like that. No. But it's just like, I'm not there, and I don't really want to get back into. I already did my work. I don't want to go through your work either, because it's traumatizing. It's traumatizing. So to sum it up, I hear you saying that so instead of saying Black men failed you, I don't want to say I'm not waiting on you, but I'm not waiting on you.
Yeah,
I have to do it's like, why do we have to wait on Black men? Not why do Black men fail me? Because they're failing, the system has failed them, and they're in return failing themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that I don't like saying fail, because to me, they've dropped the ball. They haven't failed. I feel like there's still time. I don't like saying Black men failed. I don't like that. For me. So, but the not waiting part. Why do Black men feel like we have to wait on them? Because at the end of the day, what do we owe them that they don't feel like they owe us? It's the emotional piece that you're missing. So why do Black men not feel like the emotional piece is important to Black women? It's probably a lot more important to Black women than anybody else, which may have answered the success question, the successful Black men question, because Black women go through a lot. I always say Black women got the worst shake in this world. And I mean dark-skinned Black women, because honestly, y'all are treated more unfair. You guys have to jump through more hoops and hurdles to prove yourself, to prove your worthiness, your intelligence, that you're not just angry with an attitude. You're a human being with a characteristic and a personality that don't match theirs. So, as an aggressively loud Black woman, I honestly think that that's the component. You said it off the jump. Like, they just don't do that emotional, mental work that would make them feel so much better.
Right. It ain't just for me, it's for you too. Like,
right.
It's just for me. It's for you. I want to see Black men thrive. Just like how I'm thriving, I want to see you thrive. Mm-hmm. So, why wouldn't you be in full support of you wanting to emotionally thrive as well? So,
I agree.
I'm all for that.
Topher, any closing words or statements?
Nope. I like this episode. I'm happy that we had the opportunity to discuss it, just because, like I said, we talk about it all the time. And I just think that it's obviously a conversation that people are having. It is a conversation that needs to be normalized, because we know that, like, at some point, everybody wants love, or they want some form of happiness. So why not have the conversation to at least maybe bring it to someone's attention to say like, you know what, hey, like maybe I do need to do something, or maybe I've done this wrong. So sometimes like some people just have to listen to something like this to just even kind of get a feel for maybe wanting to do something different, especially because it's just, we've had an open conversation here, no argument, but just a relaxed, open conversation. And sometimes that's the perspective that someone has to see and hear it from.
Yes, I agree. And Keisha, I can't thank you enough for doing that. I appreciate everyone who's watching this and listening. I would love to hear your feedback and your opinions and what you have to say about this. This is why we do this, okay? And I hope that somebody out there is listening. It's going to make you at least take a pause and do an evaluation. Like, dang, why do I do that? Is that me? They sound like they're talking about me. Go ask somebody if they noticed it. I would say ask one of your exes, but I didn't want to get some of y'all in trouble. Like, don't mess with y'all. I was about to say ask your exes. And I'm like, oh wait, no, let me not.
Girl, they blocked. And
but seriously, sit down and talk to somebody who really knows and loves you and see if maybe that's something that they notice about you and that you can work on. I just take a pause and do the evaluation and love yourself first, and making sure that you're healthy mentally and physically is the best form of love that I can think of for yourself. So thank you guys so much. Have a wonderful week. We will be back next week with a Black male talking about this and what he has to say about this episode and his opinions as well. As always, be authentic to yourself and others. Bye.
Bye, guys.
Are you looking to finally get your podcast started? Or maybe you're looking to perfect the podcast you already have? Well, look no further. Dukes Multimedia LLC is here to help you with all your podcasting needs. We're here to help you grow and learn and make your podcast sound even more professional than you can imagine. Contact Dukes Multimedia LLC via Facebook or Instagram. Dukes Multimedia. Learn, create, produce.